From Storm Tracker 6, this is Forecast First, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense.
Even though we still had some very hazy conditions across mid-Michigan today, overall it wasn't too bad. Satellite and radar still showing dry and mostly sunny conditions developing across mid-Michigan this evening. Temperature-wise, 87 degrees in St. John's, 88 our current temperature in Ionia. We're at 86 degrees in Lansing, as well as down near Hillsdale as well. We will stay dry and mostly clear overnight tonight. Temperatures falling down into the upper 60s. We'll increase those temperatures again for tomorrow as the rain and humidity returns. 6 News at 5:30 starts right now.
WLNS is here for you, celebrating 75 years of bringing you the news with 6 News at 5:30.
Right now, 5:30, more deadly flooding hits parts of the country, and New Jersey is in a state of emergency. Plus, a Michigan woman says she found a dead mouse inside one of her energy drinks. And police are working to find and stop so-called subway surfers for the dangerous and potentially deadly stunt. Those stories and a lot more, and all in the first 6 minutes. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Siobhan Klepfer. Let's start that clock. And we begin this evening with more deadly flooding in America, this time in the Northeast. Take a look at this video. Record-breaking rain soaked New York City last night. The water poured into subways and submerged city streets. In New Jersey, people were trapped in their cars as roads were washed out. 2 people died when their car was swept away. The governor of New Jersey declared a state of emergency. But fire is a big problem in Arizona. The 2 wildfires burning near the Grand Canyon's north rim are still at 0% contained. The fires have burned more than 55,000 acres and forced the area to close for the season. One cattle rancher says he can see the smoke from the White Sage fire just a couple of miles away, and says he and his son are making plans to evacuate their herd if necessary.
If it runs to the west, we're in trouble. When a fire starts like this, you're taking your life in your hands to go up there and try to round them up.
Arizona's Democratic governor is calling for an investigation into why the federal government decided to manage one of those fires, the Dragon Bravo fire, as a controlled burn when it first broke out. That fire has now burned more than 70 structures, including the historic Grand Canyon Lodge. Well, back here in Michigan, a 19-year-old man is facing criminal charges tonight, accused of throwing 2 Molotov cocktails at a county Republican Party headquarters in Iron Mountain. Police there say the man was seen on security video on Saturday trying to light a rag in a bottle on fire, but then gave up and threw the bottle at the building. They say they found a second broken bottle nearby. There were no injuries reported, and police say there was no significant damage. Well, this was the scene outside of a McDonald's in East Point on Monday as hundreds gathered to honor and remember 39-year-old Jennifer Harris, who was stabbed to death last week while on the job. The mother of 6 was a manager there, and police say a 26-year-old employee there stabbed her multiple times. Tonight, the suspect is in the Macomb County Jail and facing charges including first-degree premeditated murder. A fund has been set up to make sure Harris's children are taken care of. Imagine opening up an energy drink, drinking some, and then finding a dead mouse inside. A woman in Grand Rapids says it happened to her in April, and tonight she is suing the Monster Beverage Corporation. The woman says discovering the mouse at the bottom of the can caused, quote, severe emotional distress, trauma, and physical illness. So far, Monster has not responded to a request for comment. Well, this next story is a lot more comfortable to hear, and that's because new bedding is being delivered to fire stations across Detroit. There are 36 stations in the city and roughly 200 bedding units. The City Council approved the $92,000 expense to replace the old uncomfortable bedding. Detroit firefighters work 24-hour shifts and medics work 12-hour shifts. They're allowed to rest or sleep at the station between their shifts' emergency and training duties. Well, staying in Michigan, the remains of U.S. Army Private Kenneth Kramer are coming home. The Defense POW MIA accounting agency identified his remains last month. Officials say Kramer was a prisoner of war during World War II and was serving in the Philippines at the time of his death at 20 years old back in 1942. Kramer is expected to be buried in Hawley in October. Today, researchers released the annual Moose and Wolf Survey from Isle Royale National Park in Lake Superior, but it's missing some data. Scientists from Michigan Tech University normally observe the island from the air during the winter to get a population count, but the pilot had a medical issue and the flight was not rescheduled. Last year, researchers report 30 known wolves on the island and about 840 moose. The Michigan Department of Natural Resources will auction off more than 120 properties online beginning August 1st. The land is in 22 counties in West and Northern Michigan. The DNR says the state acquired much of the property after non-payments of taxes. The land goes to auction when the agency determines it's better suited for private ownership. For example, some properties have no roads and can only be accessed by river, making public access difficult. Today in Congress, the House Rules Committee voted down a Democratic congressman's amendment to hold a vote to release the so-called Epstein files. The amendment would have required Attorney General Pam Bondi to preserve, compile, and publish the files that some say contains a list of clients of the deceased financier accused of child sex trafficking. If it had passed, the amendment would have then gone to a full House vote. On social media, President Donald Trump ordered the Republican Party to drop the matter. In India, the man known as the world's oldest marathon runner died at the possible age of 114 in a hit-and-run car crash on Monday. Fauja Singh's exact birth date is not confirmed, but the elderly man, who went by the nickname the Turban Torpedo, ran his first marathon in the year 2000 and was considered to be the oldest ever marathon runner at the age of 100 in Toronto back in 2011. He was also a torchbearer in the 2012 London Olympics. Well, take a look at this. More than 130 miles off the coast of Florida Sunday night, the U.S. Coast Guard rescued a 77-year-old fishing boat captain. The man was experiencing stroke-like symptoms, and the owner of the boat sent out a call for help. A Coast Guard helicopter crew reached the boat and airlifted the man aboard, then flew him to a hospital. And wrapping up our first 6 minutes of news, take a look at this. Police using drones caught a group of teenagers doing some subway surfing. The boys climbed on top of a subway train and rode it while it was on an elevated track. Two boys, 15 and 16, were taken into custody. And Kendall, police say this is the 200th incident of subway surfing since 2023. Do not try this.
Well, no, I'm scared to fly in a plane.
Yeah.
I get anxiety. So absolutely not. I'm far from it.
Oh my goodness. And 200th case. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, don't do this. Just don't do that.
No.
Stay safe, everybody.
Yes, stay safe. Well, tomorrow we will have to at least monitor the weather. We have a couple of scattered showers and thunderstorms that we have to talk about.
Okay.
Level 1 risk for those strong storms already in place.
Oh, wow. Okay, your full forecast with Kendall right after the break. That and a lot more still to come here on 6 News at 5:30.